So we've had a fair bit of rain overnight. The pond is well and truly full, which means that you can see it there. It's overflowing. There's going to be a frog up there somewhere. This overflow soaks down this way and goes down there. We get this runoff down the side of the house, but also this is the intended understair shed with water actively running through the ground. You can see where it's, where is it? Seeping just there. So that's next to the foundation. It's coming out where that tree root is. Yeah. You can see some of the overflow puddling under here. So, right, there's the pond. Here it's actively running down through here and basically branching off and going under the stairs or down here. Yeah, I can kind of see that. This is dry at least because of that. Oh yeah. I heard that dripping happening. You know, it's the first day after the holidays when it rains all day on the last day of the holidays and it's sunny on Monday. Still a bit of cloud down over Sydney though, so who knows what the day is going to be like down there. I am running late to drop my car off for its service. Two reasons. One, I was just running late in the house. But second, my workmate, who was going to give me a lift from there, messages me this morning showing me a photo of a flat tyre on his ute, and his has 19 or 20-inch alloys with little bead locks and special caps and everything on it. And he said, first time I've ever done these wheels, so it might take me some time. He sends me another photo of his tyre iron that comes with the ute snapped open, and he said, bloody factory tighten bolts. I got 5 off and this was the last one, 6 stud pattern. I grabbed my sockets and I've got 2 older wheel braces, the square ones. One's only got 1 size bolt on it, and it's also got the little pry bar for your hubcap, and like it's a really old one. And then the other one's just got 4 different size sockets on it. And I grabbed my big breaker bar that I would use on the van and the Suzuki, which is basically just a giant piece of 2-inch gal pipe that you'd slide down over the wrench to give a bit more leverage. I throw that in the back, and he said, I've called roadside service. Sorry, they said they'll be about 90 minutes. And he doesn't live that far from me on the actual way to work. Drove around to his place, and as I'm driving up, I see roadside is already there, and he hadn't messaged me that long ago. And they're there with their own compressor and air tools, getting the nuts off and changing everything over. And he said, this should be fixed soon, like, so you head on down and I won't be far behind you, and we'll both be just a little late to our college development day at the senior campus. So the teachers from every campus will be going to senior campus for a staff development day, but it's called a college development day. Guest speaker, breakout sessions, which you had to select last term. The two I selected and I got into because the college deputy emailed out the lists of who got what and where they are. My first one is working with Pacifica students. The second one was leveraging AI in education. And I need as much help with that as I can get. I'm only head of technology. Technology is leaving me behind. I'm stuck in the manual world with so much stuff that I do, like in construction. It's funny because a few years ago we got a CNC mill to try and be able to get the kids to incorporate that into their projects, give them an experience for what it might be like out in industry, what they might expect to see. But the largest CNC mill for timber that you could buy in the Department of Ed was an enclosed Roland. I think it's MDX 50. The bed size is basically like an A3 page. The one use that it's been used for so far has been for a kid's guitar neck. That was one where the guitar neck had to be done in two parts, so there was a big splay joint, and ukuleles you could do the whole neck in it. It's still kind of limiting. Like, it's not like you can use it for making big plywood templates to transfer onto table legs or other furniture parts like you see a lot of people do online. Accompany tools for schools, so you would think it would be. They have a 4x4 and I think a 4x8, but I think it's just a 4x4 CNC router that they were in the process of getting approval for. And apparently they'd gotten part of it approved, like far past the first step. I recently received an email in the holidays because they said to me, hopefully next term. So an email from them basically spruiking it, because they weren't spruiking it before they started the process. It'd be nice, but I think it's something like $50,000 to $70,000 for it. I'll have to see if there's any grants going that I could try applying for. There was one for sustainability, but it's really got to meet the criteria. But if there was ever a grant for STEM funding, by the time I got a grant, that CNC should be fully approved. How the hell did I get around to CNC routers? I'll know when I watch this back. Tuesday morning, and as you can see I have a co-pilot. Batman's going to see the eye doctor for hopefully his final checkup on his eyes. It should have been around mid-February. The reason the appointment wasn't made at the last visit was because that was last year, and it was supposed, their system didn't carry over, they said, the new calendar. And they said they would contact me, and I relied on that, which was silly of me. I should have been making calls to make that appointment. And then we got back to work, chaos ensued. It was just like constant on the ball, changes here and there, being DP, not being DP, being DP, not being DP. It was like constant report, so many other things that were happening. I eventually rang during the holidays, and I was hoping to get an appointment during the holidays, but being that there were so many public holidays during the holidays, it wasn't likely. The best two times were going to be yesterday or today. Well, yesterday couldn't happen because I didn't have the car, and it was the first day back. So it was today. Today is today's staff development day as well at school, faculty based. So programming, preparing lessons, getting everything ready. I'm missing out on that. So when we get back, I'll do a bit of that at the house. But it means that I've already seen a few emails about timetable things, which I can't do unless I'm working on the server. I don't really want to remote server that stuff. I can in a pinch, but I don't need to. We're on our way over to the eye doctors at Artarmon. We've been driving for a bit. I just had to stop and get fuel. When I stopped for the fuel, they said we still had 50 minutes to go, so we will get there before time. I picked this time specifically, his appointment's at 11, to miss the peak hour traffic. Good boy. Lay down.
Doors closing. Doors opening.
Hey, first day back with the kids. The day has just ended, and had 12 construction and 11 construction today. So 12 construction work out there because it wasn't raining then, and got 2 more of the legs and brackets all drilled and bolted together. I don't have them again till next Tuesday. Today's Wednesday, where we will put the cross braces onto that, weather permitting. I just had year 11 and this rain started halfway through it. Out of my class, of which I think is now 11 students, there was 3 here. 3 or 4 of them do a TAFE course, and that's where they were today. They come to school in the morning and then they go to TAFE from recess onwards, trying to get them to sort of step into the workforce that way. The rest of the day I was spent updating timetable changes because there's people on leave. Paperwork is never ending. So that's what that was for. Another little honeydew project done. First walk since his surgery. So I've come out to the flat area. This is all suggested by my wife. Most of the week has been rainy, so I couldn't do anything during the week either, but he's due to get his stitches out tomorrow. And he's been busting for a walk, I think. Doing well, he's been good. We held our federal elections yesterday, and I drove to where I normally go for all elections and polling, and he wasn't there. So I had to drive to the next town. They usually hold them at schools or public halls, fire brigade stations, which is where I would normally go. But yesterday I went to this public school in the next town, and it was busy. Lots of people there. Run a sausage sizzle for people. There's also a store for buying plants and cakes, obviously, like raising money for the primary school. I think I would have been there in total for half an hour. Normally voting takes like 5-10 minutes max. Labor Party got back into power. They were the incumbent party. The opposition party and another party called the Trumpet of Patriots were both basically running on similar types of platforms, if you could call them that, as Trump. Scare tactics, division, some things just a touch racist. Yeah, the Labor Party got a resounding victory. The way elections work in Australia is you vote for your local candidate. So whoever is the candidate for your electorate, and there was 6 candidates, I think, for our electorate, and you number them all, 1 to 6. They count up all the 1 votes, and whoever gets the lowest number of 1 votes, they remove that pile, divvy them out based on what number 2 is on each of those ballots. They keep doing that, like 1 through 6. It's called preferential voting, because you're giving your preferences. Divvy those down until one candidate wins a majority. If a candidate gets more than 50% on their 1 votes, then they just get it. And then the candidate for that party seat gets counted for the parliament. We also voted on the Senate, which were completely different, but you're basically voting for which parties or which people you would like to be in the Senate, which I think is our House of Representatives. Got those 2 things mixed up. Anyway, voting closes at 6 across the country, and by 8:30 that night, and by this stage, Western Australia, like Perth, probably would have just closed. I think they're 2 hours behind when it's not daylight saving. At 8:30, Channel 9's election coverage basically called the election for Labor, saying it's near impossible for the coalition to win. Labor had 46 seats, the coalition had 21. And then there was a few seats held by the Greens and other independents. Now, the good old Trumpet of Patriots, which we were bombarded with advertising on YouTube, I also got multiple text messages from them. They didn't win a single seat. Biggest upset, if you wanted to say it that way, biggest message that was sent out was that not only did the coalition not get enough seats to even come close to winning, but the leader of the opposition, Dutton, didn't even win his own seat. He was booted from Parliament by an unknown. That's how much his electorate, that voted him in 3 years ago, that's how much his electorate despised him. And it was a resounding thumping peacock. So seats are counted up, and you need 76 seats to win. Sometimes there might be a minority government, which I think was the case before. Labor and the Greens were together, make a government. Labor got 88 seats, flipped lots of coalition-held electorates. But here's the big difference. Dutton conceded gracefully, and Albanese, the Prime Minister, gave a good speech and stopped his supporters from booing Dutton and said, no, we're respectful of our candidates and our opposition. You don't get that in some places.